Hello artists, this is Mrs. Conyers, and we are going to start our first art project of the year. And I usually like to start with a self-portrait. And a self-portrait is a picture that you draw of yourself. I'm going to show you a couple of famous self-portraits first. These are copies, of course. This, you might recognize this guy. He is the same artist who painted The Starry Night. This is Vincent van Gogh. And you can see he's known for all of these swirly kind of images and lines, and he even has that on himself. So that's kind of his technique. And so that's a really good, famous example of a self-portrait. Another artist that I really like is Frida Kahlo. She is a fascinating artist, and you can see by looking at her background, you can learn some information about her. And so that is another famous artist self-portrait. I have two examples to show you for me. And this doesn't really look exactly like me. This maybe looks a little bit more like me when I was younger. But you can see it kind of represents me. And when I did this one, my hair was a little bit longer. But you can see I have the blonde hair. And I just added a border to create a little frame around it. So that's one example. And this one is a little bit simpler, with just more of a stylized look. That means it's not very realistic at all, but it's just kind of a simpler way to represent what I look like. And I also have a border on this one that has some different little pictures and images on here. And so you can think about your style. I am not looking for it to be exactly like what you look like. What I'm really looking for is for you to put the features in the right place. And the features mean, of course, things like eyes and nose and mouth. And so we want to make sure those eyes are not up on the forehead. So just to get started, the way I usually get started when I'm drawing a face is by drawing a letter U. And I'm going to start and draw my U like this. Now I'm pressing pretty hard, so it would be difficult to erase. I'm doing that so you can see my paper and what I'm drawing. But what I always say is draw light till you get it right. And that way, if you do something that needs adjusting, you can easily adjust it with your eraser. And so then what I'm going to do, I usually do kind of a hair next. This is just the way I do it. You might have a little bit of a different style. And this first project is just kind of to get us going, get us thinking about being artists. So just a little general hair outline. I'm going to put ears in here, especially if your hair is short. Make sure you don't forget those ears. You don't want to look like an alien. And then I'm going to put a neck. Look, if I do that, that looks like a bobblehead, doesn't it? We're going to make our necks wide enough so that you don't look like a bobblehead. So I'm going to erase that. It's okay if it doesn't erase completely, because when we color, then that will kind of get rid of those erasing lines. And then maybe some shoulders. And you can put on the outfit that you're wearing right now, or you can just make something up, however you want to do that. So let's think about our features. And our eyes are usually kind of right in the middle, not up on the forehead. So I am going to, and sometimes if I'm having a hard time kind of figuring that out, I can use some dots to help me. And then I can just connect those. If you have a special way of drawing eyes, I know some people like to draw eyes in a certain style. This is a great time to just show me that. Again, we're not looking for exact realism. We just want to get our brains back into being artists. And it doesn't have to be perfectly realistic. Here's my little trick for drawing eyes. I usually do the pupil. I just do a circle and then kind of shrink it. And if you leave that little white spot, it'll look like a highlight on your eye because our eyes are shiny. And then maybe that little, I'm not sure what that's even called, part of your eyelid that's in there. And then I could put eyelids here, maybe some eyelashes. There's something big that's missing on top. That's our eyebrows. Don't forget about those. And you can make those your eyebrows however you want. And then any kind of nose. If you want to keep it simple, it is okay with me for you to do the L nose. We can learn how to draw the noses more realistically later. But if you're good at that, I would love to see it. And then our mouth is kind of in between here. So I'm just going to make kind of a simple mouth. But again, if you want to keep it really simple and do something more like this, you can see that's almost just like a smiley face kind of face. And that's fine too. We are not looking for perfect. Today, I would love for you to just focus on your pencil work and not worry about the color. So if you get your drawing done and you feel like that's good enough for the day without adding color, that's fine. You can think about your background. We can remember that Frida Kahlo put things in the background that showed her interests. And she has a very, very detailed and beautiful background. You can see that Vincent van Gogh has a textured background. And if you want to add a frame. Now, if you want to do a frame, I would suggest actually you start with that first. And if you don't have a straight edge handy, you can use a lot of different things. You could use a second piece of paper to help you to draw a line. Or you don't even have to make it straight. You could just make a cool border that's swirly lines. Or just do something like that. But if you want to do a frame, maybe I would start with a frame. That way you know where your space is to draw your face. So, there you have it. That is enough for today. And we will think about coloring next time. See you soon.